Greetings, adventure. Welcome to the D20 Academy podcast. I'm Shiloh.
And I'm Gabriel, and this week is our Cleric class rebuild.
Hey guys. Welcome to our Cleric class rebuild. We did the Bard last month and the Barbarian before that. We have a document with all the information, like our whole new Cleric class. If you want to check that out, get into our Discord, where you can find the document there. Gabe, how do people get into our Discord?
You can get into our Discord by messaging us on Instagram. We have a post set up on Instagram also that you can comment on. You'll get a link to our Discord. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to just link to it in the post, link to it into an Instagram story yet. But all you need to do is just message us, comment on one of our Instagram posts, and we'll get you in there.
Yeah, and that is D20 Academy on Instagram. YouTube, we have YouTube stuff. Maybe we'll do other YouTube stuff one day. I have time. We'll actually do YouTube videos, but also all the podcast episodes are up there as well. And I'm like more on Reddit now, actually, with the D20 Academy account on Reddit and stuff. So if you guys want to have interesting conversations there, whatever, you may find me on there. Or Gabe as well. Talking about interesting, cool stuff. Okay, great. Let's get into the class rebuild. Hey, guys, clerics. Let's talk about clerics.
Alright, so I think a bit of overview first.
Yeah.
Going into this class.
Yeah.
The class is pretty good.
Dude.
You know? It's just like
really good.
Down to its bones, you know,
yep.
Down to its roots. It's just a pretty good class, you know, it's pretty cool. It's got spellcasting going for us, so that's always a big plus.
Yep.
It doesn't have like a bunch of huge glaring problems, except for, I guess, it's really good.
Yeah.
Would be the biggest problem.
I would say its biggest problem is it's almost as good as Paladin, which nobody wants to be that, because the Paladin is like the best, so. And nobody likes the Paladin. Just kidding. It's like everyone's favorite class. Cleric, we have lots of experience with clerics. Like, everybody in every campaign we've ever played in has been a cleric. Not everybody, but there's been a cleric in, like, every campaign we've ever played in, right?
I think so.
Like, basically. They're so nice. They're just solid. They're just a real solid class.
Yep. And that's because of their mandated morals. To play a cleric, you must be completely moral.
Yep.
Now, what moral code you follow, that's up to you, you know. Perhaps, like, murdering people is moral.
Yeah.
But that's like the base part of the class, I think. You know? That's why I like it.
Because they're, like, more, like, lawful, you mean?
No, because they get to kill people and say it's...
Yeah. No, honestly, yeah, that's why I wish
God's
I was a
edicts,
cleric in real
you know?
life. Yeah. So I can get away with it.
Anywho... How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
The TV show, which I've sure watched. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Starting off.
Yeah, I'm gonna collect all of this out. Guys, so Cleric does not have a lot of base class stuff. Because it's a spellcasting class, most of, like, its really cool new stuff you get when you level up has to do with the spells and the next spell level or whatever that you can choose from. Rather than actual class abilities or features. So they don't have a lot. There's a ton of, like, blank. There's a ton of levels that just, you don't get anything. Except for, you know, access to a new spell slot level or access to more spells or something. Right?
Yes. Yeah, correct. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that's makes it a little bit more, I wouldn't say difficult, but it makes redesigning the class different.
Yes.
When redesigning a full spellcasting class as opposed to a full martial class.
Yes. Also, Cleric, the bulk of the Cleric class has to do with the subclasses. There's 7 subclasses, and that's just irritating me, because doesn't the Wizard get like 8?
One for each school?
Yeah. Wizard gets like 8, Cleric gets like 7, and then Barbarian gets like 2. Anyway, I'm not here to complain.
Sorcerer gets 2.
Yeah. Oh my god. And this. Okay. We're gonna talk about the sorcerer when we get there.
We're gonna get to the sorcerer.
We're gonna get to the sorcerer. If you want our thoughts on the sorcerer, we're not gonna talk about the cleric class really. Like review it because we already did that in the spotlight. We definitely talked about the sorcerer class in the sorcerer class spotlight. And what our thoughts. Anyway, we're getting off track.
All right. Mainly.
Yeah.
For this class rebuild here, we're mainly changing subclass features.
Yeah.
Simply because, well, most of the features they get are subclass features anyway, so.
Yep. Okay, so let's just go down. We're gonna do like a basic overview of our changes to like the base class features, and then jump into the subclasses, which is gonna take the majority of the episode. And of course, we do also like to do some building live, so we have a couple features we've left open to build right now on this episode. But let's start with the cleric's most important feature, spellcasting.
Yes, spellcasting. The cleric, as you know it in the player's handbook, is a wisdom spellcaster. Because, wisdom's great. Why not make a spellcaster the strongest spellcast?
Yep.
The strongest spellcasters. Wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes, it's wisdom. Alright, enough of us ranting and going on tangents. Spellcasting, we've changed slightly. Just like we did with the bard, we are making your spellcasting ability dependent on your subclass.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. So, you give a brief overview. Like, the knowledge domain is now intelligence. So if you're a knowledge domain cleric, you now use intelligence as your spellcasting ability modifier, which you use for your spell save and your attack modifier. I really like this change, and we've made it so that each one of the subclasses fits with the intended ability that we're going for. Life, we kept with wisdom. We think it fits. But war is now a charisma caster.
That's not true.
No? You changed that? What?
War is intelligence.
Right.
Yeah.
War's intelligence, sorry. Which I really like.
Dude. Okay, so 3 of the 7 are still wisdom, 2 are intelligence, and 2 are charisma.
Yes. Sorry, I got the mixed
no
up.
worries.
But...
And we're gonna jump into the subclasses again, and we're gonna detail what the spellcasting ability is for each one. But the reason we did this, well, there's a couple reasons. One, wisdom is really strong. Wisdom is like probably the second or third best ability. Dexterity is obviously the first. And clerics are already very powerful. Also, we did a lot of balancing, too, when it came to the subclasses, because they're way out of balance in the base book. But to help balance the cleric out or whatever, if you change the spellcasting ability modifier, it helps in that balancing. So, for example, the war cleric is very powerful. Let's just take the basic class stuff, not what we changed. But in the basic player's handbook, war domain, that's really powerful stuff. And with your spellcasting ability, also wisdom, you want to have a high wisdom because, the cleric wants that for spellcasting and everything. But you also need wisdom for things like perception and, all that kind of juicy stuff. Whereas when you change it to intelligence, which is not as powerful and, versatile, I guess, using as many things as wisdom is, it makes the class a little worse. Does that make sense? If we changed rogue to using strength instead of dex, that would make the rogue worse. Because dex is used in everything, armor class and initiative and all that kind of stuff, where strength is not used in as many things or whatever. And so it would actually make it a little bit worse because the ability scores are not even in their power level, if that makes sense. So that's one of the reasons, is by making some of the subclasses have different ability scores, we can kind of balance it out in that way. Another one was just to fit the theme. So knowledge, obviously intelligence, trickery, charisma. And so that if you are a knowledge domain cleric, you want to have a high intelligence for your character because they should be smart, right? The whole point of a knowledge cleric is you care about knowledge and learning knowledge, and you're, some kind of sage or something, right? That would obviously mean that your character would have high intelligence, and so then it would be weird if your, character sheet doesn't reflect that in your character.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the school of like trickery, like you're probably like, you're a trickster. You're probably someone who charms and deceives and all that kind of stuff. So it would make sense for your character to have a really high charisma modifier.
Here's an idea.
Yeah.
We make the trickster a dexterity caster.
Yes.
Ooh, that's balanced.
Yes, dude. That's what it needs to be more powerful, bro. Anywho. All
right.
Wait, there's other
what
reasons. There's other reasons
changed.
we did it, I feel like.
Oh.
Are there?
What?
Maybe not. Anywho. Yeah, so, and also...
That's the change we made to spellcasting.
Yeah.
Pretty simple and straightforward.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Oh, okay.
So that... Another reason is so that you can play a cleric with... And your options of races you can play is so much bigger. Because, obviously you can always choose any race with any class, but because of the ability score improvements that each race provides, it won't always be the smartest decision for you. But if you can still play a cleric, but depending on your subclass, you can favor one of the 3 mental scores as your highest, you have now options to still creating a powerful cleric with way more races. So instead of just having to choose one with a high wisdom or whatever, so you can play a good cleric, you can now choose one with a good intelligence or a race that gives a bonus to charisma or whatever, or wisdom too. And then just choose a subclass that favors that spellcasting, that ability. It just makes that there's more options when it comes to races.
All right. Yep. Another little boon there. So that's all we changed for first level, I believe. Second level, you get Channel Divinity and a Divine Domain feature. We're going to get into all the Divine Domains later. I don't believe we changed Channel Divinity at all. Correct?
We just changed...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Why don't you explain this?
All right. So, we didn't change the Channel Divinity feature, but we did change one of the Channel Divinities right at second level when you get it. Instead of getting Turn Undead, which we see typically as a very situational ability that isn't going to come into play in every campaign or every setting that you are playing in, and it is something that you get really early on. You get your Channel Divinity, you want to be able to use it, and to just have one of your Channel Divinities relegated to something you're never going to use just doesn't feel good. So instead, we replaced Turn Undead with a feature called Versatile Casting. This is a Channel Divinity. As an action, you present your holy symbol and speak a prayer to call forth a power you're unfamiliar with. You may cast any spell from the cleric spell list with a casting time of 1 action as if you had it prepared. The spell must be of a level you have access to and still expends the spell slot as normal. Essentially, you can just cast a spell from the cleric spell list that you didn't have prepared, you didn't have it on your list of prepared spells that day, but you need that spell in this moment.
Yeah.
So use your Channel Divinity as an action, you expend that spell slot, you cast that spell.
Yeah. So, not a super, big, really game-breaking kind of power here. It's going to come and play more than Turn Undead, is not as situational and dependent upon your campaign and DM as Turn Undead is, but just gives you a little more versatility when it comes to your spells. Already as a cleric, because you're a prepared caster and stuff, you already have all that kind of versatility. But just to give you a little boost there as well. Yeah, versatile casting. So pretty simple and straightforward. So every cleric gets this. And then, of course, depending on your domain, you also get another Channel Divinity option at second level, which we'll get into.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. I believe the only thing we changed from the base class features after that is the 5th level ability, correct?
Yes.
All right, so at 5th level, you get Destroy Undead. Destroy Undead is like a change to the Turn Undead feature.
Yeah.
That we just removed. So we decided to remove that, obviously, but we haven't found a replacement for it yet, which is one of the things we're going to be going over in this class rebuild.
Yeah. Do you want to do it now or do you want to do it later?
I think perhaps we do it later after we've already gone through what we've changed with the subclasses, so that the listeners have a fuller view of what we've done with the class.
Okay. Yeah. So the 5th level thing is a stranded, and we're gonna switch that up later, and that's gonna be base class. So any clerics will get this. So let's jump into the subclasses, the divine domains. Keep in mind, if you're on the doc, it's much easier to follow along with what we're talking about. Okay, so first up we have knowledge. Knowledge. They value learning and understanding above all else, and they want knowledge. Okay, cool. Pretty straightforward.
Nerds.
Exactly. So spellcasting ability is intelligence, as mentioned. And did we change their domain spells? Don't think so.
I don't think we changed any of the knowledge domains.
Okay.
We are only looking at.
But we do have a note here. Okay, so
identify.
For each subclass, this is already a part of the player's handbook. We didn't make this up, but each domain has its own domain spell list. So 2 spells you get at 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th level that you will always have prepared. Some are from the cleric spell list, some are from other spell lists. But depending on your domain, you get these 2 spells at these 5 different levels to always have prepared that are appropriate and applied to the theme of your domain. So we've changed some of the spells in the list. Knowledge we have not changed at all. However, we did have something a note here that we are going to want to figure out. So one idea we had, because the knowledge domain, even after us balancing it and making it more powerful and stuff, because it's like one of the worst, definitely in the player's handbook, we still feel like it's a little weak. Definitely if the spellcasting ability is intelligence as well. One of the ideas we had is to, instead of giving them 2 set domain spells that adhere to the knowledge flavor, we allow them to choose 2 spells of that level from the wizard spell list. So after we go through the features again, and maybe we can use your help as well on the Discord or on Instagram or whatever, if you think that would be too powerful or too broken, or if you think that would help balance it.
Yeah, so I like that idea. It's a nice little compromise there. The knowledge domain is a bit lacking in comparison with the others. Mm-hmm. Even after the changes we made, we still feel like we could use a little something special. So we're going to keep that in mind. It's not set in stone yet.
Yeah.
All right. Past the domain spells, we have first level. You gain... Oh, I knocked my mic. All right. Sorry about that. You gain proficiency with heavy armor. This is a thing that I'm still kind of on the fence about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see that it does help to make the knowledge domain a little bit better, but I just don't know if it fits.
Yeah. Fits flavor.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was another thing we added to try to see if we could balance things out a little bit here. Anyway, so yes, we're keeping that in mind as well.
Alright. Additionally, at first level, you learn 2 languages and become proficient in your choice of 2 skills or tools of your choice. So you can choose proficiency in perception and what's one of the obscure tools? Cartographers. Yeah.
Wait, is that what you said too?
Cartographers. Yeah. So useful.
So useful.
And essentially you gain
expertise.
My expertise, thank you. My mind just went to insight. Like, no, it's not insight. It's not insight.
Yeah.
You gain expertise in those 2 proficiencies that you choose.
Yep.
I think that's nice. Fits knowledge domain, I think. And I love giving people expertise in things that they feel that their character should be good at.
Yep.
It's cool.
I agree.
Alright, moving on. What's the channel divinity that they get at 2nd level?
Alright, so channel divinity we've called Know Thy Enemy. Not we. Me. Okay, blame me. Know Thy Enemy. At 2nd level, you can use your channel divinity to learn important information on your enemies to better face them in battle. When you hit a creature with a spell attack or a creature fails a saving throw against one of your spells, you can expend 1 use of your channel divinity to ascertain information on the creature you are fighting. The DM tells you the answer in regard to 2 of the following characteristics of your choice. One option is to learn their armor class and current hit points. Another is all of their immunities, or all their resistances, or all of their vulnerabilities, or all saving throws they are proficient in, or all skills they are proficient in, or the level of the highest level spell they can cast. Which is kind of a confusing one, but basically, the highest level spell they can cast.
That they can cast.
We have to word it strangely because innate spellcasting is a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, sorry about the wording, but it's just to make sure that it covers all bases there. I really like this.
I really like this.
I really like this.
I
think that there needs to be more like abilities in the game that tell you things about the creature that you're fighting, so that you can better, work around that and strategize around those things that you've now.
Yep.
That you now know about what you're fighting.
Yep.
I love this so much.
Yeah, this can be like pretty awesome and pretty good, or like okay, depending on the situation and like your DM and like how they build encounters and stuff. Definitely like for me and Gabe, as people who have been playing for years and years and we're very familiar with D&D, this kind of ability is like amazing to us because we both love like the tactics of combat. And with this ability, being able to learn the creature's like armor class or like the resistances or like the saving throws they're proficient in can totally change how we play the party and how we use all our different abilities and how the spells we cast and stuff, dependent upon these features that we've learned of the enemy. However, I think this is not always the best, because if it's kind of just like a basic sack of hit points monster with a basic armor class and basic like claw attack or whatever, like this isn't, you're not really going to get anything out of this in that battle. But otherwise, like learning which saving throws are proficient in to know what spells are better to cast against them, knowing if they have like proficiency in athletics or whatever to know if your barbarian or fighter should like grapple them, knowing the spells that they can cast. So if you have to like save up a counter spell or whatever, not sure if they know that, but if they can tell the wizard to save up a counter spell or whatever. Sadly, like we've mentioned before, a lot of monsters do not have any immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities, which I dislike. Me and Gabe both dislike.
Yeah.
We wish they had more, in which case this would become much better. If you're the kind of DM who likes homebrewing, or you have the kind of DM who likes homebrewing lots of monsters with resistances and vulnerabilities to make combat more interesting and tactical, then this ability is going to be even better.
I just had like a banger of thought, not to interrupt this train of thought here.
No, go ahead.
I was thinking about spell casting, and then I thought, what if we made like the cleric what if it wasn't a prepared caster and only the intelligence subclasses were? That might be a little bit too deep in the sauce there for us to go.
Ooh.
But I kind of like that, and it fixes our problem.
Maybe. Yep. Let's rain check that. I like that. Okay. Next one. We don't want to like. I don't even know if like it's super like legal to have all this stuff in here because we copied a lot of this stuff from the player's handbook. The 6th level is the same, so we're not going to go over it. If you know it, you know it. Go find it. But yeah, with the ones we keep the same, we're not going to just reread. So 6th level ability for knowledge is exactly the same. I really, really like it.
All right. Now we get to the place where my most hated ability that the cleric has is supposed to go.
Yep.
That is potent spellcasting or divine strike. These features suck. And I could go on a rant, but I'm trying not to, okay? Yeah, this is at 8th level, and it's literally just a damage boost. The potent spellcasting is just the damage boost for when you're casting spells.
Cantrips.
Divine strike, it's just a damage boost when you're hitting someone with a stick.
Dude. Potent spellcasting is cantrips. At least with Divine Strike, it's given to the subclasses that are given proficiency with martial weapons, like War and Tempest. So you are actually like using weapons, some of the time, and so it's actually worth it. Like an extra D8 damage is pretty good. Potent spellcasting, getting it at 8th level, getting a boost of like plus 3, 4 to your cleric damage is just. Not cleric.
Also because cleric cantrips suck.
Cantrip damage. I just... The point of clerics having proficiency with like simple weapons and stuff is because they don't have good damage cantrips. They aren't supposed to use your cantrips to damage. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but it's things like mending.
Their cantrips aren't the best at damage.
Yeah, light and stuff. And the reason they have access to things like maces and quarterstaffs is so that they can use those if they, early levels, they ran out of spell slots or whatever. But okay. Anyway, we don't like those. So we kept some divine strikes if they fit the subclass, but we definitely got rid of all the potent spell counters.
All right.
Oh, also, yeah, go ahead.
We changed. Okay, no, you go. There you go.
I was just gonna say what I think you're about to say. We changed it from 8th to 11th level.
Yes. Yeah. So instead of getting another subclass ability at 8th level, you now get an ability at 11th level. This spreads out the subclass abilities a little bit more. There's a big gap there between 8th and then 17th.
Yeah.
So that's not something that we really like. We like it when you get consistent abilities while you're leveling up. There isn't like big gaps.
Yeah.
So we thought 8th level was fine. It already has an ability score increase. I don't think it needs any more. So we moved the subclass ability to 11th level.
Yeah. Which, yes, makes the class worse, but I'm okay with sacrificing that because the class is already pretty strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for the Knowledge Domain Cleric, your 11th level ability is Telepathy within 60 feet.
Yep. Love it. I love telepathy. As you can 17th level thing, Visions of the Past, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Except just instead of Wisdom score, it's Intelligence score. Here, let me change it here. I changed it at the bottom, but not in this part. Okay. Telepathy is... As you can see, the Knowledge Domain has not a lot of stuff to do with combat. Except for the Know Thy Enemy. Most of the other things are very, utility, out-of-combat kind of things. But that's totally not a problem. Telepathy is, so fun.
Yes. When I played my Sorcerer for 2.5 years, my most used cantrip outside of what I was using to attack was Message.
Yeah.
Because I just loved it so much. It's telepathy.
Dude, it's
useful, too.
It's super useful. Super useful, even in combat too. I mean, it's just telepathy is just one of those things that you're always going to be using in your campaign, in of combat, outside of combat. In the first Critical Role campaign, one of the player characters was able to homebrew build these earpieces, basically, which are just comms, and they use those things every session.
Yes,
because it's so strong and it's so useful to have some kind of telepathy power. So I think giving telepathy to the Knowledge Cleric is just really, really cool. And I really like that. Because, nobody gets that. Except for the telepathy spell, which is an 8th level spell, so... Okay, that's knowledge.
Alright. Now we're on to Life Domain.
Ooh.
We had several takes of this, and I honestly don't even know if what we ended up with is nerfed.
Yeah. I think doing your intelligence can prepare everyone else spontaneous might help as well.
That might be able to do it, because as is in the player's handbook, the Life Domain, especially when you get to higher levels, is insane.
Okay, unless you have an idea of what you want your cleric to be and their theme, dude, choose life. It's so good. It's so good.
Choose life.
Dude,
sounds like an...
Choose life. One of our players, loves life clerics. He's on his 3rd one. And look, I'm not mad or anything. He's a great player, and if you love something, yeah, whatever, play it. No, nobody cares. But I mean, very strong. What was the life cleric he played was what? Got up to 18th level at the highest?
Yeah, I think it was 18th
before he was
level.
Killed or something? Dude, an 18th level life cleric is so powerful. Not only do they have access to 9th level spells, including what was that one, like mass heal or something?
Yeah.
But the abilities they get in the life domain are so good. But we nerfed it quite a bit. I'm pretty sure we kept the spells the same, the domain spells the same. Oh, they're wisdom, by the way.
Yes. I think these ones are the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spells are the
They're
same.
the same.
But we actually
Alright.
nerfed it quite a bit and moved a lot of abilities around. So why don't we talk about that?
We did indeed. So, first level. Instead of getting proficiency in heavy armor, now you get this ability called Aura of Preservation.
Oh, and Disciple of Life, by the way. You also get that at first level.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, not in our new one, in the old one.
Sorry, yes. Instead of the 2 abilities that you get with the base life domain, you instead get this ability. Aura of Preservation. Alright? You emit an aura when a friendly creature within 30 feet of you makes a death saving throw, they have advantage on it. In addition, when a creature with a friendly creature 30 feet of you regains hit points and they'd be healed up to their maximum hit points, instead of those extra hit points that they could have been healed just being lost because they're already at max hit points, they instead gain temporary hit points equal to your wisdom modifier.
Yep.
I like this. It's like a little overheal ability.
Mm-hmm.
Coupled in with his ability to gain advantage on death saving throws.
And we should mention when they regain hit points from a spell. So
Sorry, yes.
yeah, it's not like
thank
potions or rests or whatever don't apply to this. Getting the if they hit their max, getting the temporary hit points. Time and playtesting would have to tell how broken that ability would be. If it's fine and balanced, or if it could be too strong. But I mean, I think it's fine. The reason we were gonna have that you gain temporary hit points equal to like the access hit points, but that could get out of hand very quickly at higher levels.
Yes.
Like, let me cast Mass Heal and give all 700 hit points to our frontliner, who now has 650 temporary hit points, or something like that. At lower levels, it actually might be really strong because maybe the access heal is just 1 hit point, but then they gain 3 temporary hit points. So depends. I feel like though it is fine because they have to hit max and then all that kind of stuff. If we would nerf this, I would say that you have to activate the aura and it only lasts for a while instead of always having the aura on. That would be if we had to nerf it, that's what I would add.
We do also, I'm realizing as we're reading through this, we need to add like a time limit on like how long these temporary hit points last. Just state it,
Oh. Well, I know. I think you lose them on the whenever you take a rest.
You do. Use all your temporary hit points on the rest. But
Yeah.
I'm saying we could like limit this
Yeah.
to for a little bit of your until the end of their next turn or start of their next turn or for a minute.
Yeah, that's definitely another thing we could do. I am in love with the first ability, which gives people advantage on death saving throws. That is just so fresh. Gabe came up with that. It's just so fresh. No ability like I would never even consider the concept of having advantage on a death or disadvantage on a death saving throw. But it makes a lot of sense.
As far as I know, there's only there are two ways. 2 ways to gain advantage on death saving throws in the player's handbook. 1, be a monk. I think at like 13th level they get an ability that gives them. Oh wait, no, that's proficiency. That's proficiency, I think. All saving throws. I could be wrong. It might be advantage. I get one of the 2. But then lucky would be the other.
Oh, sure. But that's not an advantage exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
So that's our new first level thing. Instead of getting heavy armor and Disciple of Life, which we moved. Okay. Channel Divinity at 2nd level is Sacrificial Protection. You can use your Channel Divinity to sacrifice your own health in order to protect those around you. When a friendly creature that you can see within 30 feet of you takes damage, you may use your reaction to take that damage instead.
So, situational, but it can come in very clutch. And it's not overpowered.
Not at all. Yeah, this one thing really nerfs the life cleric already.
Yes. Because looking at what the channel divinity that they did have was, it's literally just more healing.
Yeah.
It's
And good healing.
good healing.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, this is a nerf. I still think it works well. It's interesting. Adds a little trade-off there you can consider. Nice little situational ability. I think it's a step in the right direction for the life cleric. Alright, moving on. 6th level. Did we keep this the same? I think...
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So, not going to really go over that. You're looking at the life cleric and the player's handbook. You already know what this ability is. You gain hit points when you heal people with spells. Alright, Disciple of Life, that first level ability, is now moved to fill the 11th level slot here. It still exists. It's still there. We were kind of running out of ideas on how we can change the life domain without straying from the flavor of it. So just in order to nerf it a little bit, we moved to the 11th level.
Yep.
And settled on that.
Also, just getting it at 11th level compared to 1st level, just the difference in power level is just greatly reduced.
Yes. Alright, speaking of reduced, we get to the 17th level ability.
Nice segue.
So, in the player's handbook, life clerics at 17th level get this nice little, it's not super impactful or whatever. It's just a small little ribbon ability called Supreme Healing, where it's not even going to come into play often,
Oh, never.
Who heals as a life cleric? So instead of maxing the amount of healing that they can put out with each spell, we instead gave them this nice little ability called Lifebringer. You can reduce the material cost of components. We haven't decided whether it's by half or completely when you cast a spell that restores a creature to life, as in Revivify or choose Resurrection.
Look, guys.
Thoughts?
The flavor and theme of life is so limited, definitely because nature is also another domain, that, I mean, other than hit points, what else is there? Yeah, resurrection. This is, really strange. I have no idea how this would actually turn out or how impactful this would be to a game. Because 17th level, are you just, gods and you have all the money in the world and reviving people doesn't matter? Not super sure. But also, who is ever going to play this class Rebuild Cleric to 17th level? So, no. Obviously, we don't want to think like that, but yeah. No idea how this would impact a game. But it's an interesting, it's an interesting little concept there. Also, I want to point out, in the Supreme Healing feature, it says, for example, instead of restoring 2d6 hit points to a creature, you restore 12, because, you just restore max immediately. What spell restores 2d6 hit points? Anyway, just curious why that was the user's example instead of 1d8,
Yeah.
Okay. Light domain. So.
Light domain?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Light domain in the player's handbook is just the fire domain. Dude, their domain spell list
it's very
is
true.
Just fire. Burning Hand, Fury of Fire, Flaming Sphere, Scorching Ray, Fireball, Wall of Fire, Flame Strike, so much fire stuff. But if you read the description at the beginning of the light domain, I'll read the first sentence. Gods of light promote the ideals of rebirth and renewal, truth, vigilance, and beauty, often using the symbol of the sun. They don't even mention fire in there. So, taking these other concepts like truth and
fire! TK fire!
Yeah. Taking these concepts of things like truth and vigilance and stuff, I tweaked the domain spells a bit to add things like Zone of Truth, Aura of Purity, Dispel Evil and Good, to reflect that instead of just having just full of fire spells, because also, let's be honest, that's not even useful, having a gazillion fire spells. And their spellcasting ability is Charisma. Because they're in my mind, light domain are kind of like leaders. Beacons of hope and light.
Yeah. And because we wanted some of them to be charisma casters. Woohoo! Alright, so slight changes in the light domain spells. That's a nice little thing there. Then we get on to the first level abilities. So I believe these are relatively similar. The bonus cantrip is the same. You gain the light cantrip if you don't already know it. Then Warding Flare we changed a little bit, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So Warding Flare is really, really strong.
Yes.
I changed it to just one use that you recover on a short or long rest, instead of uses equal to your charisma modifier, or what would be your charisma modifier, and you regain on a long rest. Just because I think it's really strong, definitely at earlier levels. However, I'm not sure how good it becomes later on, just having this one use. And to balance that out, I was thinking, instead of getting the light cantrip, because come on, really? Getting proficiency with heavy armor. And that also kind of feeds into like more kind of like the captain on the battlefield, beacon of kind of hope kind of thing.
That could work. That could work.
I think I'm going to do that because,
Alright. So, they get heavy armor at first level, and Warding Flare once per short or long rest, instead of charisma or wisdom modifier per long rest. Alright, moving on. I don't believe...
I think everything else
I think the
is
challenge
the
divinity is the same.
except for potent spell casting.
Yes. So let's get to that. Instead of potent spell casting, we get Beacon of Justice. Alright. When a creature within 30 feet of you misses you, this is an attack roll or What has happened with me today? Actually, it's not today. This just happens every episode.
No worries. Reset.
Alright. One other creature other than you within 30 feet of you misses an attack roll or fails a saving throw. You can use a reaction to present your holy symbol and allow them to reroll. You can make this choice after you see the roll before the DM says whether the roll succeeds or fails. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier minimum once, and you regain all uses when you finish a long rest.
Yep.
Beacon of Justice.
If we were to nerf this, we would just make this a channel divinity feature.
Correct.
At least in my mind. Okay, let's hop through these last ones here, because these are the most boring. Nature! Just a druid. Just play a druid. So, nature is wisdom. I don't think we changed any of the domain spells. Acolyte of nature,
No, I think
bonus
these are the
proficiency is all the same. Channel divinity is the same. Dampen elements is the same. Instead of divine strike, though, I came up with channel divinity bestial transformation. At 11th level, your god is giving you the ability to transform into the animals of nature. As an action on your turn,
Transform into a furry.
Yes. No. As an action on your turn, you can present your holy symbol and cast a polymorph spell. The spell can only target you, and your mental ability scores are not replaced by the beasts. So, kind of like wild shape a little bit. You polymorph, but you can only target yourself. However, instead of the drawbacks of polymorphing you or your friends, which is your mental ability scores are changed, you can still keep your mental ability scores. One reason that makes wild shape so much better than polymorph is that. So, except, you can't. You can only wild shape yourself. So, just kind of like a little wild shape, basically, that you get at 11th level. Obviously, you're probably not going to be using this in combat too much to, like, turn into, like, a fighting kind of beast. Maybe. But at 11th level, you're probably already stronger than any beast of any challenge rating. So, usually you're going to use this for things like turning into an eagle, or like a bug, or, something to, like, scout, or sneak, or to fly, or to take your, transform into a whale, to take people across the ocean, or something. I don't know. But I really like wild shape.
So weird.
Yeah, that was a weird example. I like polymorph and wild shape because I feel like there's so much utility, things you can do with it, and you can be really creative with the beast you transform into. So I really like that kind of stuff. And then Master of Nature is the same.
All right. There we go. That was the nature domain. Cleric light, as we can call it.
You mean Druid?
Now, Sorry, Druid Light.
Yeah.
Yes. Diet Druid.
Yeah.
Tempest Domain.
The weirdest domain, dude.
Yeah.
So
It's
weird.
a little bit weird. You just
Like, just
tempests, dude.
Just-
Storms.
nature. Like, why is Tempest a domain? Just nature.
Is it just like nature but more violent?
Yeah, it's just violent Look, okay, this is so weird. Let me read the description. Gods whose portfolios include the Tempest domain govern storms, sea, and sky. They include gods of lightning and thunder, okay, gods of earthquake, and then some fire gods, but the light domain already exists. Anyway, their wisdom...
And certain gods of violence, physical strength, and courage.
Yeah, but that's like light to me. I don't know, man. I think we changed some... Oh yeah, they have insect plague. You guys. So, they get the domains... Tempest has like fog cloud, thunder wave, call lightning, right? Normal. But then at 9th level, they get insect plague, dude.
Like, why?
So weird.
Also, we just have a vendetta against insect plague. Just because there's an incident that happened once. But that's not important.
Oh, coincidentally, it was a Tempest Cleric who cast Insect Plague, like, basically on the whole battlefield. And it was just hitting everybody, including the party. It was a fun time. Gabe's a little hurt. So
I'm not.
we just...
I'm very hurt.
I was DMing, so I didn't really care, but, so we changed, instead of Insect Plague, we couldn't really find anything else that worked, so we just used Maelstrom from the Elemental Evil. And if you don't have access to it, we linked it to the D&D Spells website. From the document.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's hop into this.
Proficiencies are the same. We changed their other first level ability.
Yes.
So instead of Wrath of the Storm, which is, I believe, a reactionary thing where you can make people take lightning damage when they attack you.
It's just weird. It's just weird. Yeah.
Alright. In the words of Shiloh, it's just weird.
Yeah.
So instead they have Destructive Wrath, which is basically Great Weapon Master, but for lightning or thunder damage.
Yeah. So they actually get Destructive Wrath as usually, like in the player's handbook, they get Destructive Wrath as their Channel Divinity, which says when you roll lightning or thunder damage, you can use your Channel Divinity to deal max damage instead of rolling. I don't like that at all. Just anything that like deals max damage and stuff is kind of interesting and kind of volatile, and also like when are you dealing thunder and lightning? You know what I mean? It's just a little weird using your Channel Divinity for that. So instead, we just change it to first level because you already gain proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor. That's a really big buff already, and so we just changed it so that you also get Great Weapon Master. Whenever you roll a 1 or a 2 on a damage die when dealing lightning or thunder damage, you can reroll the die. Not Great Weapon Fighting. Sorry, the fighting style, not the feat.
Yeah, sorry. The names are too similar.
Yeah, and then we changed it to Channel Divinity to something way more applicable.
Alright. Shocking Lightning. So, second level, you use your Channel Divinity to charge your weapon with electricity and momentarily stun your enemies. As a bonus action on your turn, you can use your Channel Divinity to charge your weapon. The first time you hit a creature through weapon attack before the end of your next turn, they become stunned until the end of their next turn. It's a lot of next turns in there.
Yeah.
But I like this ability.
It's a smite.
I don't like stunning players.
Yeah.
But players stunning things is different.
Yeah, I agree. We talked about this a lot. The first concept that I come up with was like you choose a point within range, and everyone within 5 feet of that point like has to make a save or be stunned. Like you're like charging the air with electricity or whatever. But we change it to a smite to balance it out and fit it more to, you know, kind of the Tempest already is using lots of weapons and stuff because of martial weapons. So we just kind of changed it into a smite. Okay.
Yeah, simple enough, I think.
So, okay. At 6th level, in the player's handbook, when you deal lightning damage to a larger, smaller creature, you can push it up to 10 feet away from you. This is like the weirdest thing in the world. So situational and bad. I renamed it to Tempest Winds and said when a spell you cast deals damage to a larger, smaller creature, you can also push it up to 10 feet away from you. Make it way more applicable than just dealing lightning damage. However, is this too good? We're not super sure yet. Gabe, what do you think?
I think because it's not chainable, it's not like when you hit it with a weapon attack, you can do it. I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be okay. Battlefield control isn't too crazy, as far as I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
The only way would be like through, concentration effects, where you just are concentrating on the spell and they're just stuck inside of it.
Yeah, because once again, Tempest already gets proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor. They will be doing lots of weapon fighting along with their spellcasting. I don't know if they're going to be doing lots of damage spells. So, yeah. We'll see. I definitely did not want to make it a save, though, because that slows the game down so much.
Mm-hmm.
We kept Divine Strike for them, so they can deal extra 1d8 thunder damage when they hit with a weapon attack. In my opinion, it fit pretty well. Gabe, what do you think?
I think it's fine if used sparingly.
Yep.
No, like in subclasses, not necessarily in combat.
Yeah.
Obviously not in combat. You're using this. But I don't think every subclass needs to have their own Divine Strike.
Mm-hmm. And it balances out a little bit because some of the other abilities have to do with spell casting, such as one we just talked about when you cast a spell, or the Destructive Wrath, right, when you roll damage when dealing lightning or thunder damage, which is typically coming from a spell. When this is actually, applies to weapon fighting, so it balances it in the sense that you have to make that choice each turn. Are you going to attack with your weapons, or are you going to cast a spell? Which helps balance it out a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it makes sense. 17th level ability, same thing.
Yep, Stormborn. Flying speed.
Alright, Trickery.
My favorite.
Alright, these are Charisma casters. As we stated before. Did we change the spell list at all?
No, because it's perfect. It is perfect. I love everything about the Trickery domain, so yes, the domain spell list is perfect how it is. I love it so much.
Alright.
That's my answer.
From him. Alright. Blessing of the Trickster, I believe, is the same thing.
Yep.
Invoke Duplicity.
The same.
Same thing. Alright. I know we were thinking of changes, but we never didn't change it. Same thing. Alright. What did we change?
Cloak of
Did we
Shadows.
change anything?
So,
Yes.
regularly at 6th level, you get the Challenge Divinity Cloak of Shadows. You can, let me read it from the Player's Handbook. You can use your Challenge Divinity to vanish. As an action, you become invisible until the end of your next turn. You become visible if you attack or cast a spell. This is so situational, and honestly bad. Because, in my mind, this is just an escape ability? I don't even know. In my mind, invisibility is so much more than its uses in combat. It's for sneaking around, scouting, spying, all that fun stuff. So I just changed it so that at 6th level you can use your Channel Divinity to cast the invisibility spell without expending a spell slot. Yeah, I know. Just kidding.
All right.
Yeah, give it more uses so you can be more creative with it, and also make it better, because honestly the Trickery domain is not that powerful.
I don't know. They get Blink, though. Alright. Improved Duplicity, I think, is the same.
But instead of Divine Strike, we changed it.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I missed over that. Alright. Blur Reality. 11th level. God's given you the power to turn illusion into reality. As a bonus action on your turn, you can swap places with the duplicate I created by Invoke Duplicity. Got through it.
Good job, man. Me and you together in the trenches here, trying to pronounce the words we've written. Yeah. Swap in place with your duplicates as a bonus action. And with improved duplicity at 17th level, you get 4 duplicates. This just becomes so fun.
I do wonder if it is too much, though.
What do you mean?
It's a bonus action. I guess you're missing out on your spiritual weapon strike.
Don't even talk to me about that spell. I don't think this is too good. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's just like it's gonna come up every once in a while that you'll need to do this. So, yeah, I think it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Last one.
War domain. So, this is one like my favorite change of spellcasting ability.
Yeah.
Changing the war domain to an intelligence spellcaster.
Yep.
I love it so much.
Yep.
It gives it a much more like defined flavor for me just by changing the spellcasting ability. By changing it to intelligence, you automatically know like, okay, so like a war domain cleric is someone who the gods a god like a war or whatever, thinking like you're Ares or why can't I?
Athena.
Mars.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
And you've like studied.
Yeah.
Like the art of this, the art of your god, that your god practices, and your god is the perpetrator of, you know? This art of war, and you know about it. And you're smart about it. You got stuff in your brain about it.
Yes. Yeah. We got it.
Smarts.
This one change makes me want to play a War Domain Cleric.
Yes.
I have no desire to play War Domain Cleric. It's just very similar to like a Paladin to me, and I don't like Paladins. Just the concept of like a Paladin and War Domain Cleric is just not enticing to me personally. But literally changing this spellcasting ability to intelligence makes this way more enticing to me because of like the flavor change. Because I want to be a War Domain Cleric and be really smart, like a tactician. Like that's so cool. And of course, making it not wisdom anymore helps nerf it because war is very powerful.
Yes. Now that we're talking about this, I wonder if we could change this more into like a more of a someone who manipulates the battlefield.
I agree, actually. Yeah, it's pretty. We basically kept the same things. Nerfed them a little bit. We kept Divine Strike. We kept Avatar of Battle. We kept War Priest.
We could definitely make this into a Warlord.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. The only difference is with War God's Blessing at 6th level. Normally, you use your action to grant a creature a +10 to their roll. But I changed it to advantage before they make the roll to nerf it a bit. Because I think they're pretty powerful. But now that we're talking, I think we're going to revamp this whole thing. And make it more of a Warlord. Not the whole thing, but, you know. Like, I would say we probably keep, like, War Priest. But yeah, I think we changed Guided Strike and everything. So, yeah, by the time you're listening to this episode, it's going to be something different. You'll see it on the document. It's gonna be something different.
And that's the subclasses.
Yes, sir. There they are.
Them's the subclasses.
I'm so scared for Wizard. Just our 2-hour episode. We have to go through 8 subclasses, dude.
And we're really going to change those subclasses. Some of them are just...
Yeah.
Annoying to me.
Yep. Okay. Hey, we have one thing we got to decide on. Well, a couple things. One thing, what's the 5th level ability we're going to give clerics for their base class? The second thing, what are we going to do with like, the knowledge domain? And their domain spells and stuff.
Alright, one thing at a time. Huh.
Okay. Can I say something?
No.
For the 5th level ability, Destroy Undead is what you get at 5th level, and that is just an upgrade to Turn Undead, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got rid of Turn Dead. Instead, we came up with Versatile Casting. So 5th level, if we were to go the same route and upgrade versatile casting, I would say a very simple, cool fix would be now you can choose the spell from any spell list instead of just Cleric.
I like the idea, but it's just too low level.
What do you mean?
You get that ability at 5th level.
Dude, you get Destroy Undead at 5th level, okay? No one uses Destroy Undead. You get access to 3rd level spells. That's like the big thing for 5th level for casters. Nobody
But
gets
I'm saying that that's essentially a wish light.
Druid doesn't get anything at 5th level. Let me check.
I'm saying I like the idea. I think it's just introduced it too early of another level.
Okay. 5th does not get... Sorcerer doesn't get anything at 5th level. Warlock doesn't. And Wizard doesn't. So, the cool 5th level thing is 3rd level spell slots.
Yeah. Which I think is fine. 5th level spells are big boost.
Sure. Okay. So what do you think then? What level do you think we should give this to?
Right. Yeah, let me look at the table here.
We have a big blank spot, 13th, 14th, 15th. And then the other open slots are 7th and 9th.
Then we put it at... Alright, 15th they get 8th level spells. I can put it at, like, 14th.
You want to put this at 14th?
This is really good.
I guess so, but that's so far down the line.
It's a really good ability.
It's... I don't think it's really good. I think it's great. But I wouldn't say it's, like, amazing.
If we keep them as prepared casters, they're already super flexible. And clerics have a very good spell list. And then the ability to cast spells from others, like any spell list that they want.
Okay, what about 9th level?
Alright, I'd be fine with 9th level as long as we restricted it to, like, 5th level spells and under.
Okay, wait. Here's what I'll say. At 9th, you get the ability, you get the feature, but only from, like, the wizard spell list. But then at 14th, you can choose from any spell list.
I think that's a little weird.
Yeah, that is.
Because just the wizard spell list, that's like already like 85% of the spells at your disposal. From wizard spell list.
I mean, yeah. There's other, Bard and Druid and, there's Paladin Smites. Okay.
Paladin Smites.
What are we calling this ability? Or this feature? I always get that screwed up. Ability is not a feature. Different thing in the game. What would we call it? Even more versatile. The most versatile.
Versatiler.
Yeah. Flexible casting? Dang it. Wait a minute, that's something else, isn't it? Adaptable?
Improved versatile casting.
Would you say?
No. Improved versatile casting?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yep. I mean, yeah.
I guess.
Okay, in that case, we don't need to even have this. And then, versatile casting. When you reach 9th level, you can cast the spell from... you can choose the spell from any spell list, not just the cleric.
I think we need to limit this to 5th level spells and under.
Okay. If you cast a spell with this feature that is not on the cleric spell list, the spell must be 5th level or lower. When you reach 14th level, the spell must be I don't know, 7th level or lower. That fine?
Sure. No, I think we still put like improved versatile casting as the feature here. Just like what's the bard? It's kind of like this.
Yeah. Oh, it's versatile casting improvement is what you say.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Improvement. Sure. Okay. Alright. That's all good. Last thing we need to decide is for like the knowledge thing. Are we gonna do it that just intelligence casters can prepare and everyone else is spontaneous, or are we doing it that the knowledge cleric can choose their domain spells from the wizard spell list, or what?
I don't know. I'm on the fence.
What are the strengths and weaknesses of both? Well, by just making the knowledge like be able to choose from wizard, we're just messing with one subclass. By doing
it's a lot simpler.
And with the others, we're messing with the whole class. And greatly nerfing it. Too. Which, maybe that's a good thing.
Correct.
I don't think so. I think clerics kind of need prepared because of things like restoration and that kind of stuff. I like it that clerics can prepare their spells to kind of fit the situation to help support the party the best. But I mean, yeah.
I'd be fine with either. I see what you're saying, but we already do have kind of like a solution for that with versatile casting.
You're right. You are right. Huh. I guess we'll figure it out, and then by the time you listen to this
figure
episode,
it out.
You'll know. Is that everything?
I think that's everything.
This one was a monster.
So many subclasses.
So many subclasses. Oh my gosh, this one was like, much harder. I like how
why does the cleric and wizard have so many more subclasses?
Yeah.
So
I like
subclasses.
How for the barbarian and the bard rebuilds, we like had to add a subclass. And in this one, like, it took so much work just to fix the subclasses they already had. Hey guys, let us know what you think about this in Discord. Let's have a conversation about it. We love doing these. We're gonna do fighter. We're doing the druid next month, which only has 2 subclasses, which is so nice. I'm excited for. I love the druid, so
all right,
really excited for that.
All right. Until then, until we release another podcast episode.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Stay safe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Hey.
And play our rebuilt mystic.
Dude, you guys know it's coming. You know it's coming. Real quick, we may have some upcoming actual play series in the works, still in conversation, that may be coming up for the podcast. If you've listened all the way to now, yeah, by the way, that's a cool thing that may be coming up. Still not 100%. Obviously, you will know on our Instagram and Discord and stuff when we get that figured out. But yeah, coolio.
Coolio. Until then.